strategy and market profile levels by signing up at fintech.com.
All right, guys. So can you guys hear me? All right, perfect. So right now, I'm actually just going on the futures. I'm not going to do any options on here. We had a very nice pop here in the NQ, almost actually just over 100 points now. So I'm looking for the other indices that have not caught on yet to catch on. So that's why I'm actually on ES rather than the NQ. Because right now we have the ES still down about 25 points or 0.75%. The NQ did just go green on us, so I'm looking for the MES to catch up. So that's, I think, is going to be our potential bigger move today. So that's what I'm going to be watching mostly today. RTY is still down about 1.12% or 18 points. Um, and it looks like the Dow is down about 1.2% still, or 340 points. So that's another one that we could be watching for a good move. On my charts here, I'm using the 15 minute. I have a 512 tick, which is my primary scalping on the MES. And then my 30 minute for a little bit longer view. And I will switch this one between 30 minute, 2 hour, and 4 hour. So obviously the 2 hour and the 4 hour are going to continue to be showing a down move here. But once those switch over, I think it would be a good swing here on the MES. Now, one thing you guys do need to watch out for is that there obviously are a lot of earnings today. You have Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, maybe not Google, I'm not sure. I'm not looking at it, I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Visa, UPS. So there are some big earnings this week. So as far as swing trading, you need to be very careful of that and just make sure that you know who has earnings and when they have them. I don't know if you guys remember the last quarter with Apple and Amazon. We were long going into that, and that one did hurt me and hurt. I know a lot of people who were following with that too. So I'm going to make sure that I'm not long or short going over Apple, Amazon earnings when it comes to the futures. But overall, I was kind of messing around this morning a little bit, trying to get the setup for you guys. So that's why you can see I've bought 5 contracts, sold 4, kind of in and out, pretty much flat right now. $15 up, going on my latest trade here. So nothing to get excited about or brag about, but like I said, this is something that I'm going to be watching, just seeing if we can get ES to continue this move with it here. So we are long right now, and if you guys have any questions or want to know what I'm looking at or what targets I have, just let me know and I'll answer them here. But overall right now, I'm just kind of waiting, seeing if I get any switches, see if I want to go short or just keep this long throughout the day. As far as any news that's come up, I haven't seen anything. I know Kudlow came out this morning saying that talks are still slow, but they have not stopped. New home sales did just come out. So it looks like actual 0.959 million, forecasted of 1.02, so a little bit low. Previous was 1.01. So I don't think that's going to affect much. But let's watch here and see what it does. New home sales 959,000 versus 1,025K. So that has slowed. We are getting a little pullback on the real short term. So we went through the first half hour of the day as well. So I would expect a little bit pullback here. Just with this big move on the NASDAQ that I'm watching here on another screen. But it does seem to be holding pretty well. So it looks like it's trying to hold at least. So NASDAQ taking off again.
This stream is sponsored by Unusual Activity. If you're looking for high volatility stock, then the
Where do I see ES going today? I actually have not put any targets in. On my 30 minute, I've got a 34.33 volume control area, which is something that you're going to need to watch out for if you are long. So that would be one target. And it's honestly, it's going to depend. Right now, you've got the NASDAQ leading. So if the NASDAQ can continue up, I don't see any reason why seeing a pullback any further on ES or the Russell. The Dow hasn't really caught up on any of this buying yet, so definitely need to watch that. I'm not sure why it hasn't. But yeah, I mean, my first target for a intraday scalp here would be about the 34, 33 area. So you can see I did draw a trend line this morning. When I was first got on, I got on pretty early this morning. First got on, had a nice trend line going up, and it did break through. And then so now on that second break is part of the reason why I went long, and also we had a lot of buying volume come in right around that break as well. So had a few different indicators, had some excess buying come through, so that's why I did go long. But you can see here, I just went long about 34.23. I actually tried to get in earlier. I did a bid purchase, and it got skipped over. So I had to cancel that and ended up going market. So I got a little bit higher start than I wanted to here. But ES did just break over on the 15-minute, the volume, the VWAP. So it is looking good. You had a 34.27 of the one target I had. So I'll probably be looking to stay long on this for the short term here over 34.27. If we do break back down here on the 15 minutes, I will probably get out of this long on
coming out
ES.
from the Ministry, they said that we demand 6 US media firms in China, including ABC, LA Times, Newsweek, to report information about their Chinese operations to China within 7 days.
Yep. Frog, FROG is doing great. That's almost 100% win on the option on that one. PayPal is still struggling a little bit. I'm seeing the NASDAQ pull back a tiny bit. So some China news just came out. China's foreign ministry would demand 6 U.S. media firms in China, including ABC, LA Times, Newsweek, to report information about their China operations to China within 7 days. Okay. So really need the NASDAQ to hold. Starting to get some selling in. So for a scalp, I would go ahead and close your RES or MES, whatever, if you guys are following along. I'm going to hold it a little bit longer myself, but if you are just scalping, this would be a good exit area. Starting to see some selling volume coming here. I'm going to go ahead and reverse this actually. See if we can go. It is on a volume point here, so I was going to reverse it, but I'm actually going to hold and just see if this level holds here, the 34.25 area. You can see there's been some big volume in this area. And it looks like it might be holding again, so yep, we're going to hold this. You're starting to see some more buying come in. A big 18, 11. NASDAQ did hold the 11,650 area, which is an area that we have talked about a lot in that Discord group. Man, Frog 130% on those options. I'm gonna hold on to those for a little bit longer too. Took a nice profit of those on Friday, and the strategies we have are working out well. So it looks like we might be getting rejected at this 34.27 area. So I am going to at least flatten out here. And I'm going to let this area kind of work and play and see what it does. I'm considering going short. As you can see here, we got a rejection, 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 rejection. And if this gets rejected again, I think we do make a move down. If we can break through and hold that, I would consider again going long like I was this morning here. And I'm going to kind of base this here on the 512 ticks, and I'm actually going to change this to get a little bit deeper to 750. Let this play out a little bit more than the 512 I had. So overall, I mean, with the messing around I kind of did this morning, if you guys were watching, you know, I was negative, so it is flat now. But now that we're really live, I hope to get you guys a big win here. So it does look like it's going to try to break through. See, it's holding this 34.25 support. Here comes a NASDAQ down for another 11,650 test. Definitely getting some selling. But it's still pretty choppy. There you go. So there's some selling coming in. 1014. Now we just need to see if this is going to be short covering. I mean, just right now, it's obviously in the chop area, and we're just not getting anything. All right, 34.27 broke on the 15-minute. New candle as well, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to try to go long again here. 34.2850. Nasdaq's not showing much right now, but let's hope we can get the SPX or the ES to follow, and it might not be. All right, so this is what I'm going to do here. I'm actually going to keep this long here following this trend on the 30-minute for now. And I say that because it's just pretty choppy. Got big selling followed by big buying. It's not giving any real direction. So I'm going to move my attention more to the 30-minute chart. I'm going to be looking about 34.20 for either a reversal or just to close out here. Otherwise, we just want this thing to run and collect some money. Anybody have any questions about anything? Want to see anything? mean, obviously last week was pretty pretty tough. NQ had a very tight range. It started off great on Monday with a big move, and we're starting to see that again this week. So hopefully we can just get a direction, be able to play the trends, and get back to trading. I mean, how choppy it was last week, I know was pretty tough for a lot of people. Yeah, Rajesh, I said 34, 33 is where the big volume area is. I've got 34.27 being my new entry of what I was trying to get at, and following this trend here. But if you are scalping just for the day, I'd be looking at around 34.30 to 34.35.
Eastern Time and 2:30 p.m. UTC. We have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Business Index, previous 13.460.
Starting to get some volume in here now. So 10.20 had a lot of buying. But yeah, just chop. Yeah, other than that first half hour in the NASDAQ, there hasn't been much of a move. Now we're getting selling. Yeah, it's just choppy. And yeah, and the reason why I'm trading micros is because it's just too choppy. There's just nothing, no trend, no direction. We're coming down now again. I mean, it's too news driven with the stimulus, and now we have earnings this week. I wouldn't be trading mini futures right now at all. I mean, it's just. You're gonna get a 100-point move up on NASDAQ the first half hour. And if this doesn't change, we're gonna get a 100-point move right back down, I bet you. If this rejection holds, I want to be short. So what is it that's bringing down? Amazon's up 2%, Zoom's up 3.7%, Apple's up 1.17%. Tesla, You got UPS down. Financials are down. So that's what's bringing down S&P. All the big banks are down.
At 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, at 2:30 p.m. UTC, we have the Thales Tech Manufacturing Business Index moving 13.16.
Yeah, sorry, my nanny's actually vacuum outside my office. Should be done soon. So we've got another NASDAQ test of 11,650. And it did just crack it. So
So, in regards to Boeing WTO case, the EU gets formal green light to impose duties on US
I'm gonna go ahead and go short.
Boeing ticker BA.
This rejection to me is big enough here. Now, if this short does not work, I'm going to just go flat and reset things. Because going short when the market's down almost 1% already is not something I typically do, but with trying to scalp and watching the NASDAQ,
The Vice President of the EU Commission, Dom Brodsky, says that the EU is going to retaliate if there is no prospect for a deal in the near future. This is in regards to the Boeing and Airbus dispute. We call on the US for a negotiated aircraft aid deal. And again, the Boeing ticker BA, Airbus ticker AIR.
EU gets formal green light to impose duties on U.S. imports with Boeing for the Boeing WTO case. I actually got out of my Boeing contracts earlier, thankfully.
So just keeping an eye on the US indices here, and seeing some continued downside movement. Again, to start with the headline that we did have of Boeing WTO case.
Boeing's down about 3%.
Get full green light to impose duties on US imports.
NASDAQ down to 11,625.
1 minute remaining.
A lot more selling coming through. I don't know if that's all from the Boeing news or what brought this on. But what I wish I did was I wish I listened to my earlier thought of this rejection, and that's when we should have shorted.
And we're still waiting for release.
But what are you gonna do?
Spot 80, 19 spot 80. White House Economic Advisor Kudlow says coronavirus relief will continue Monday.
White House Economic Advisor Kudlow, there remain a number of areas in Pelosi coronavirus plan that Trump cannot accept. Coronavirus relief talks are to continue Monday, of course. They're not going to cancel them yet. Yeah, Dow now down 485 points, 1.7%. ES now down 1.3%. The Russell down 1.6. NASDAQ now red again. And I said earlier in this stream, I said if the NASDAQ actually fails this breakout, you're going to see a 100-point move back down to the downside to where we are at the 9:30 open. And it looks like we're probably going to get that pretty soon here, unless something changes. We're at 1596 right now. 11596, sorry.
A number of areas in place is kind of found that Trump cannot accept this and continued downside movement on the US indices here. Also on gold, Big C is moving towards the upside, but not as aggressively compared to other negative movements on
yeah, guys, this is just chop. So I wouldn't be playing big if you are right now.
Kudlow, who says immigration and healthcare issues in the Democrats' coronavirus proposal are sticking points.
I'm not seeing anything really in either direction to make me want to walk away with an open position, especially now that Kudlow's talking again. Immigration, healthcare issues, and the Democrats' coronavirus relief proposal are sticking points. State and local spending provisions are still too large. The problem with trading during a news-driven move, which we had all of last week, which I hate. If you guys have worked with me at all, you know that I absolutely hate news-driven markets, is all technical analysis goes out the window. All volume goes out the window. It doesn't matter what you're seeing in a longer-term chart, in a shorter-term chart. It all goes out the window when there's news like this, because all they have to do is say, "Hey, we're talking tonight, and we have a really good feeling, and this market will just blow up." And then later on they'll say, "Well, didn't come to an agreement, and this market will crash." I mean, it's just chop, chop, chop. There's just nothing for you to see, nothing really to trade on. So just be very, very careful if you guys are trading. We also have a big earnings week, and we also have the election next week. So there's a lot of news that's going to be coming out here. So just please be careful. Do not trade large. Do not put everything into a single trade. I'm trading micro contracts right now. It's not worth it. I mean, 3,400, very little volume here. So 33.97 was a big volume area last week. So this probably should hold. And again, on my short term, we're actually still staying down. $15-minute is triggered down again. I mean, obvious, all obvious stuff. So here's your channel right now to watch for a short term if you are scalping 34.10 to 34.05. A break up or down from there would be a good scalp area. I'm assuming we are going to break up, but obviously I'm not going to say that we're going to go much higher. But if you are scalping 34.10 to 34.05, up or down from that area.
White House Economic Advisor Kudlow says, "I believe Mnuchin will talk to Pelosi on Monday on coronavirus."
So NASDAQ back above 11,600. We are going to probably break above here at the 34.10 area on ES. Just choppy volume all around. 14. And here we go.
White House Economic Advisor Kudlow says, I expect a very strong GDP number on Thursday.
Kudlow says, I expect a very strong GDP number on Thursday. Market doesn't care. So we still are below the lows of the day. Market, yep, here we go. See about scalping it to the upside now.
This stream is sponsored by TickStrike. TickStrike allows you to actually hear order flowing futures, forex, and stock instruments. Get a free trial at tickstrike.com.
So we just had a big order come through. So over the last 5 minutes, there's definitely been some stronger buying than there has been on the selling side. But again, we talked about this in the chat. The 11 o'clock Eastern hour is when you get a lot of the European close. So they do start to take their profit around 11 o'clock. and then you have the New York lunchtime around noon, and then they come back around 1:30, and you usually typically get a continuation around there. But on big down days like this, you will usually see some profit taking come through about 11 to 11:30 because of the European close. Which, if you obviously are real short going into that hour, then you typically get the buying or the short covering, and then when you are long, you get the selling there.
ECB bought a net 2.208 billion euros of corporate bonds in the week of October 23rd versus 2.137 billion euros a week earlier. They bought a net 6.733 billion euros in assets public sector purchase program in the week of October 23rd versus sales of 1.883 billion euros a week earlier. They bought a net 16.264 billion euros of pandemic emergency purchase program BP bonds in the week of October 23rd versus 15.858 billion euros a week earlier. ECB sold a net 206 million euros of assets in asset-backed security purchase program in the week of October 23rd versus 222 million euros a week earlier.
Oh yeah, Raj, I'm just seeing your message now. Yeah, oil down to almost 3%.
Covered bond purchase program 3 in the week of October 23rd versus sales of 81 million euros a week earlier.
So coming down here. $34.05. Have to see here if 3400 is going to hold on the ES or break down. $3,400 is obviously a very big area. Get rid of some of these. We don't need them. Nobody needs old Fibonacci's. So 3,400 to 3,395. Actually, I'm going to say 3,400 to 3,390 is going to be your potential demand zone. This is Friday. $34.10 low from Monday.
From Politico, House Representative Speaker Pelosi and US Treasury Secretary Mnuchin will speak this afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time about COVID relief.
So 34.02 low from the 22nd, which I think was Thursday. Thursday. We have from October 8th, 34.05. We have a high of 34.15, close of 34.07. So yeah, this is a huge area here on ES. NASDAQ to 11,565.
This stream is sponsored by TicketTick. Get free daily clip points, Fibonacci, and market profile levels by signing up.
So at 1050, around 3,400. Currently short. Missed out on only about 5 points on the short, but the bigger part of that was the reversal from the long. So starting net negative on this trade. And there's your over 100 points up on the NASDAQ, over 100 points down on the NASDAQ. So like I said this morning, it was probably going to happen. And again, this morning, what we tried to do is we tried to get some follow through on the ES to follow the NASDAQ, thinking that it might go red to green. Had the failure at the 34.25 to 34.30-ish area. And that's when we should have shorted on that third failure. But I waited to the trend line here, trend line break, which happened to be at the 34. I got filled at 34.21.25 on that trend line break. So now we're sitting at 3,400, which is a huge support, and just kind of waiting to see what the next move is going to be. I'm not going to be surprised to see a move up, even to get back in this 3410 to 3405 area. And if that gets rejected again, I think that's going to be a real good indication of another good short area. If you are not short here, I would not initiate a new trade. Wait for a pop to short the pop. More selling coming in. So of course, Pelosi and Mnuchin going to be closing at 2, or sorry, going to be talking at 2 Eastern. Yeah, it's possible, Harrison. I mean, it's 3,400 is a very strong support for the ES. But I would say you're 34, yeah, you're 34.66, right on, right on. That's exactly what I would be looking for a target. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that up. Real good volume area. Could be a magnet under this 3,400. So that would be our next target here on ES, and under that would be about 33.40. So 33.45, and then 3,300. There you go. So there are your downside targets. 3,400 is our very strong support. Under that, got about 33.65, 33.66. Under that, 33.40 to 33.45, and under that, 3,300. These two are a little not quite as strong as this 3,400 is going to be and the 3,300 is going to be. But these are definitely your levels to watch if this 3,400 does break down. So 11,520 on NQ. Which was an obvious big level for us as well. Now getting some large contract selling. Again at 11 o'clock, so this could be some short covering.
This stream is sponsored
But
by
if
Unusual Activity.
we're not going to bounce here, then obviously these are new initiated positions.
Please check out the Unusual Activity link at the top of the Financial Feed site for a live feed running from 9:30 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
And looks like this is probably new positions coming in. And look at all of these 2020, 22. So NASDAQ at 11,500. ES still hesitating, still in this demand area. So now we have the Dow down 600 plus points at about 2%. The Russell down 35 points at 2.17%. NASDAQ down 151 points at 1.3%. And the ES down 60 points at 1.75%. But I do feel like we are going to get a bounce here pretty soon. Just at the time of day, big support, it just makes sense to see a bounce. Oh, there's a big order that came through. 1109. So here we go. So I think we're probably going to start getting some volume increase. So I am going to, let me see here. I'm most likely going to reverse my trade. This is extremely aggressive. If you're not comfortable, you can go ahead and close it, or potentially even leave your short open and have a stop somewhere. But I am going to try to catch the bounce if I can get a good indication here, which it looks like we are getting a lot more volume coming in here. Maybe not enough, but let's see. If you do not want to be scalping right now and you are shorts from when we went short, I would do about a 34 34.10 stop, which will get you about 11 points on that. Because you don't want to be short above this area, the 34.10 area. You do not want to be short above that right now. If we get a bounce, is what I mean. Thought we were going to get a lot stronger move, but it doesn't look like it's happening right now. Still watching the NASDAQ to see if that's going to make a similar move. I mean, I'll be shocked if we don't at least get a move back up to 34.10 here soon. The time of day, 3,400 support. But just not seeing that strong volume right now. Yeah, and Harrison, you're right. Bounced right off that 200 SMA. 33.85 area. But yeah, looks like it's not going to reverse there. You're starting to get some selling. You can see here in my short-term chart, we actually just triggered back down, so it was a failed attempt. According to, I'm on 1,000 ticks. So 1,000 tick chart. But again, I will be very surprised if we do not get a bounce attempt going into either the New York York lunch or right around the time they get back. So between now and 1:30ish, 1 to 1:30. Especially if we're going to be holding this 34 to 33.90 area. They just all right. Well, attempting that level again, 33.85. Nasdaq to 11,490.
The Fed bids for 3-month bills at a total of $4.9 billion. The Fed bids for 6-month bills at a total of $4.6 billion.
Well, I mean, I obviously stayed short through this, but I'm surprised that that did not bounce.
Saudi Energy Minister Abdulaziz says the worst is over for the oil market recovery. Saudi Energy Minister Abdulaziz says the worst is over for the oil market recovery.
So they're trying to pump oil right now.
At 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have Swiss National Bank Chairman George speaking. We also have the 3-month bill auction, previous 0.100%, and the 6-month bill auction, previous 0.115%.
So we're going to be looking probably 33, the 33.65, 33.66 area as the next target. With this 3,400 potential fail. I say potential because it has not confirmed yet as a fail. I want this 15 minute and this 30 minute. I'd say mostly this 30 minute at this point. But let's see if this is going to 33.85 is going to hold again. Well, frog came right back down. So the Qs are testing this volume level again, 280.50 area.
This stream is sponsored by
So
Tick Strike allows you to actually hear all of
underneath that,
and stock instruments. Get a free trial at
I mean, you
tickstrike.com.
had some decent support even when it did break through. But yeah, with earnings coming up, it's just a risky trade to be in the NASDAQ. So this is what's crazy. So we had a 100-point jump in the NASDAQ at open. And for the first half hour, the highest tick we had was 94. So amazingly, we might be breaking the high of day on the tick.
At 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Swiss National Bank's Chairman Jordan Distributed. We also have the US 3-month bill auction, previous 0 spot 100%, and the US 6-month bill auction, previous 0 spot 115%.
So tick at 112, so it just went high a day. So I am going to take a very risky play. If you're scalping, again, you could probably just close out. I'm going to go ahead and reverse this trade. So I'm going to try a long from 33.90. And this will be a very tight stop. I will not let this one go against me here. Yeah, I'm watching these ticks and head over a 200 tick when I put that order on. Now we're back down to minus 150. So this might not work. So VIX not moving, tick's coming down though.
We will shortly be receiving comments from the Swiss National Bank's Chairman Jordan and the US 3-month and 6-month bill auction. I'll be reading the US 3-month bill auction first.
So it might have been way too early on this reversal.
The UK government says the area of Warrington in the northwest of England is moving to the very high tier, high risk. The UK government says the area of Warrington in the northwest of England is moving to the very high COVID risk tier.
Yep, looks like I was wrong here.
Swiss National Bank's Chairman Jordan says negative interest rate and willingness to
Minus
increase
430 on the ticks.
allow the Swiss National Bank to counteract the attractiveness of the Swiss franc investments.
Let's flatten it out. All right, well, I'm going to get off the mic here for a little bit. I'll keep this open. But let's try to add to this later on this afternoon. I'm in a no trade area right now from about 11:30 to about 1:30 to 2. And about 1:30 to 2, I'll get back on and we'll try this again.